This is the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite.
Good evening. President Carter spared no superlatives today in praising Egypt and Israel's new moderate approach to a Middle East peace. We have reports from Bob Schieffer and Marvin Kalb.
Mr. Carter's purpose today was to put U.S. policy firmly behind the new Sadat-Begin diplomacy, and the endorsement, while belated, could not have been stronger.
In the last few days, we have seen, I believe, an historic breakthrough in the search for a permanent, lasting peace in the Middle East because of the true leadership qualities that have been exhibited by the courage of President Sadat and the gracious reception of him in Israel by Prime Minister Begin.
He also signaled a shift in the U.S. Middle Eastern role from here on.
We have no control over any nation in the Middle East. When we find the progress in the Middle East being stopped, we use all the initiative that we can. When we see progress being made by the parties themselves, we support them to move on their own. I think it's much more important to have direct negotiations between Egypt and Israel than to have us acting as a constant, dominant intermediary. I think this is a major step in the right direction.
Mr. Carter reiterated that a separate peace treaty between Israel and Egypt is not desirable, but he added a qualifier that amounted to a mild warning to the other Arabs.
If at some later date it becomes obvious that Jordan does not want peace, or that Syria does not want peace, or that Lebanon does not want peace in a settlement with Israel, then an alternative might have to be pursued. But we've certainly not reached that point yet. I think that the other Arab leaders do want peace with Israel.
Some administration critics contended today's strong endorsement should have come sooner, but officials here said the president held off deliberately. He felt that earlier comment might have left the false impression that Sadat's diplomacy was initiated at the request of the United States. And if that had happened, the feeling was that Sadat's position in the Arab world would have been further weakened and chances for success considerably damaged. Bob Schieffer, CBS News, the White House.
After several days of confusion and flip-flops, the administration has decided to give its enthusiastic support to the Sadat initiative for peace with Israel. It still favors a comprehensive settlement in the Middle East, but it is now prepared to encourage a separate deal between Egypt and Israel as a major step in that direction. This decision crystallized last night after differences between Vice President Mondale and National Security Advisor Brzezinski surfaced in White House deliberations. According to informed sources, Mondale favored all-out support for the Egypt-Israel connection. Brzezinski favored lukewarm support, concerned about the growing Arab split, pushing Saudi Arabia and its oil into an anti-Sadat position. The president finally sided with Mondale and upgraded the American delegation to the Cairo conference. He is even considering the dispatch of a special high-level mission to the Middle East before the conference begins. One reason for this policy is a growing disenchantment with Russia. The president had expected Soviet cooperation, but got very little of it. Marvin Kalb, CBS News, the State Department.
7,000 miles away in Egypt, a very interested and involved person watched via satellite Mr. Carter's news conference. John Sheehan has that story.
At his retreat in the Suez Canal city of Ismailia, President Sadat watched Mr. Carter by satellite.
Because of the true leadership qualities that have been exhibited by the courage of President Sadat.
Before the news conference, Sadat told us that the pre-Geneva conference with the Israelis and Americans here in Cairo next month can be a long conference because he wants all preliminary details settled before Geneva. That way, said Sadat, the Geneva conference can deal immediately with matters of substance: occupied land, the Palestinians, and his demand for Arab sovereignty over East Jerusalem. Sadat was pleased by Mr. Carter's news conference.
The American role in any settlement in the Middle East, especially after my visit to Jerusalem, is confirmed again. 99% of the cards.
Since the Russians have refused to come to Sadat's peace talks in Cairo, we asked him the same question that was put to Jimmy Carter. Can there be a Middle East peace without the Soviet Union?
I don't think the Soviet Union can influence anything because whenever we agree, we shall not heed to anything from anyone, the Soviet Union or any other power.
But President Sadat is not sure the Israelis will let him negotiate on behalf of the absent Syrians, Jordanians, Lebanese, and Palestinians.
If the Israelis choose not to discuss the comprehensive settlement, well, then I shall be putting them before the whole world again.
Sadat also told us President Carter knows more than he was saying in his news conference.
Really, the man is a statesman. He is not a farmer of Georgia, or he is not a politician. No, he is a statesman.
John Sheehan, CBS News, Ismailia, Egypt.
Oh, this is perfect. Could you hold it for me? I get paid Friday.
I'm sorry. This is a Christmas special.
Oh, how about a deposit? Do you take postage stamps?
You take master charge, don't you?
Master charge? Of course.
You've just seen Clout in action. Clout is your master charge card, your personal account for Christmas shopping in over 2 million places. Carry Clout and relax.
Oh, boy, do I need one of those.
Is your Christmas store. Save on